My goals were to retire and see the world, and I couldn't wait to get retired. I had met my financial objectives. I was looking so forward. I was on top of the world. And at the very beginning, I had no money. My house was sold. I had no place to stay except for my car. You don't know how they mess with your brain. They manipulate, they punish you. I've never married, and I thought, you know what? If I want to get married, now's the time to do it. So I thought, I'll try a dating site. I did Match.com. And 2 weeks passed, and that's when we started talking together.
This is Sue, not her real name. And no matter what you might think of Sue by the end of this video, and I'm sure you're going to have some opinions, Sue is 100% correct. Scammers mess with their victims in the worst ways. They manipulate the hell out of people, and they punish. And boy, oh boy, did they punish Sue. Sue had spent her entire career as a healthcare executive, building a retirement she had dreamed about for decades. She wanted to see the world. She wanted to finally live for herself. And for a brief, beautiful moment, she was on top of the world. But by the time this story ends, she would have no money, no house, and nowhere to sleep except her car. Sue had never married. And when retirement finally arrived, she made a decision. If she was ever going to find love, now was the time. She joined Match.com. 2 weeks later, a man named Santos slid into her life. Santos claimed to be a private equity investor based in the UK. This identity was no accident. It was carefully engineered to appeal to exactly the kind of woman Sue was: driven, successful, financially sophisticated, a man who spoke her language. And the moment they matched on that dating site, Santos got to work immediately. He promised to meet her in person within the week. But then came the excuses: business travel to California, important meetings he simply couldn't reschedule. Sue understood completely. She had spent her whole life putting work first. She gave him the benefit of the doubt without a second thought. And so their entire relationship lived inside screens and speakers. Late-night phone calls, emails soaked in warmth, and every single morning, without fail, a poem waiting in Sue's inbox, along with a simple message. "Hi, honey, how are you doing? How was your night?" This is what's known as love bombing. It isn't accidental sweetness. It's a calculated psychological strategy designed to flood a victim's emotional system with so much affection that their defenses simply dissolve. Good morning texts, terms of endearment, poetry, the steady drumbeat of someone saying, I see you, I want you, you matter. For a woman who had spent decades putting work first and had never been married, this kind of consistent, devoted attention was intoxicating. Within a month, the relationship had grown intensely heavy, and while Sue would later admit that cutting it off at that point would have been the wise thing to do, that was never going to happen. Because Santos knew exactly which thread to pull next, he began talking about marriage, about a future together, about forever. And Sue, who had built a remarkable life and was finally ready to share it with someone, leaned in completely. Santos told Sue he needed $40,000 to renew a professional license, a business necessity, a temporary inconvenience for a man of his stature. Sue was in a position to help. She trusted him. She sent the money without hesitation, never once imagining she was being robbed. And Santos took careful note of that, because $40,000 had arrived without a fight, without suspicion, without a single question asked. So he came back. And he came back again. Each request arrived wrapped in a plausible story. Business expenses, international deals, temporary cash flow problems that a wealthy man like Santos would soon resolve. And each time, Sue was assured she would be repaid every single cent. The amounts escalated with disturbing speed. $150,000, $250,000, $75,000, another $250,000, another $50,000. Wire transfers flowing to accounts in China and Hong Kong. Month after month, the money poured out. And still, Santos never appeared. People on the outside might ask how someone sends millions of dollars to a person they have never met in person. But that question completely misunderstands what was happening inside Sue's mind. Santos was not a stranger to her. He was the man she thought about over breakfast. He was the voice on the other end of the line when her day fell apart. He was the person she was building her future with. The emotional bond felt as real to Sue as anything she had ever known. Over roughly 18 months, Sue wired Santos more than $2 million, her entire retirement, every dollar she had spent decades carefully saving, and when the well finally ran dry and she had nothing left to give, she didn't feel rage. She felt resignation. She told herself that even if she ended up poor, as long as they were together, she could live with that. In May of 2019, she sold her home. There was simply nothing left. Then in August of 2020, her phone rang. It was the United States Secret Service. They told her she had been the victim of a romance scam. They told her Santos did not exist, had never existed, was never going to exist. The man she had loved, planned a life around, and surrendered everything to was a fiction, a performance, a ghost assembled from stolen photos and scripted affection, operated by criminals who were likely running this same con on multiple victims at the same time. The money was gone, the house was gone, and for a while her car was all she had left. Luckily, friends took Sue in for several months while she tried to rebuild. Whether she ever fully did, that unfortunately couldn't be found out. Sue's story isn't unique. Right now, millions of people are living their own version of this. They haven't received the phone call yet. They still believe. The best protection against this kind of scam isn't skepticism. It's connection. Check in on the people in your life who are alone, who might be lonelier than they will ever let on. Have the conversation before the emotions take hold. Because once someone is this deep, a warning doesn't feel like protection. It feels like an attack on the person they love. Sue said she came forward with her story for one reason. Because she doesn't want anyone else to go through the hell that she went through. She doesn't want anyone else to end up in the hole she dug with the help of a criminal. Don't get scammed.